Okay, so I think that this is so that you're seeing a full slide across your screen. I certainly hope so. We're going to continue on linear equations in two variables. Much of today's review, we do have one new topic to include in today's lesson. Then we get on to more new stuff, completely new stuff in our next lesson. But we always begin by reviewing. So we already reviewed the homework and we reviewed the pre-K stretch. And then we get into reviewing the recent work. You should keep in mind that we just took a quiz and the quiz results were good by and large for the most part. I think the average was a 95. And now we're going to work our way toward a quiz at the end of this week and the test. A quiz the end of this week, I believe a quiz the end of next week, and then a test early the following week on Monday the 26th. I won't be around on Monday the 26th. And by the way, when I mention these dates, I'm recording this in the fall of 2022 and I saved the video. So if it's a different semester, don't go with Friday the 26th. But for now, for Monday the 26th, I will not be in class that day. You'll have the 26th and 27th to take the test, and then however you do is what you do, and we will resume back for our normal meeting on Wednesday, the 28th. Okay, so once we get going on our recent work recap, which is pretty much the first longest part of this slideshow, we then talk a little bit about some new stuff with equations in two variables. Okay, so again, stop and start. So you start this, then I'll give you the correct answers. Okay, so the porgies kept by the fleet. This time there are 45 boats working, so it's 45P for porgies. The sea bass would be 45B. So you take the number of porgies any one boat gets, then there's 45 boats, so it's 45 times P. Likewise, the number of bass, B, that any boat gets, sea bass, multiply that by 45, you get 45B. Fish kept by the fleet in the day, well, you'd have to add them up. Or that's if you looked at it as 45P is the total porgies, 45B is the total sea bass, add them all up to get total fish. Or you could have said, well, you know what? Any boat gets P plus B. Group them together with parentheses and then multiply it by 45 because there's 45 boats. Either one of those ways works great. Now, kept in a week, I've got to multiply that by 7. So I multiply the first thing, put in a grouping symbol because I got to multiply the whole thing by 7. Or I could just say the second answer, 45 times P plus B, and multiply that whole thing by 7. Or the best answer yet is to actually do the 7 times 45 and get 315. All right. Let's evaluate these expressions. Go ahead. Stop and start. Okay, so negative 4 times 7 for x and 5 for y. Negative 4 times 7 is negative 28. 2 times 5 is 10. Negative 28 and 10 is negative 18. By the way, I'm recording this late on Sunday night. Right now it's about 9:55 on Sunday night, but I actually did the work in the middle of the day, so I don't expect too many careless mistakes on this one, though I always make at least one. Next one, 4x squared minus 9y, substituting in a negative 5 for x and a 7 for y. Negative 5 squared, make sure that's inside of parentheses. That's so important when you put it into your calculator. So that would be 4 times 25 is 100, 9 times 7 is 63. Subtract, and you get 37. Okay? Next, let's talk about more than and less than. 11 more than twice a number, 11 less than twice a number. Anytime you see more than or less than, you should start immediately thinking of that great Bruce Springsteen song, The Ghost of Tom Joad. Waiting on the day when the first shall be last and the last shall be first. So the first is 11, make it last. The last is twice a number, make it first. And more than, it's addition, less than, it is subtraction. We've been over this slide now at least 3 times, so you should be in pretty good shape with it. Speaking of the great Bruce Springsteen, this is from 1975 or so, perhaps 78 with that tour. This is 75, judging by the leather jacket he's wearing on stage. Jumping off of the piano. I never forget when he did this at Nassau Coliseum back in late December of 1980, the first Bruce Springsteen concert I had ever been to. I know 1980 seems like so long ago. At one point in time, Eric Clapton had 3 times as many guitars, which gently wept. We explained that to you last week, as George Harrison. So Clapton has 3 times as many as George Harrison. Springsteen has 2 less guitars than Clapton. If George Harrison had G, what's an algebraic expression for the number of guitars that Springsteen has? That would be, remember, Clapton has 3 times as many as Harrison, and Springsteen 2 less than Clapton. 3G minus 2. Okay. Point of emphasis, the word from. From goes first. You fly from New York to Los Angeles. Where's your trip start? New York. You drive home from the movie theater. Where's the trip start? The movie theater. So you're going from the movie theater to home. From always goes first. From goes first. 10 is subtracted from a number. Go ahead, write the answer. Next up. From 19, subtract twice the number. Go ahead, write the answer. We'll give you the answers in a minute. And last up, 5 is subtracted from twice the square of a number. Remember, from goes first. So, what do we get for 10 is subtracted from a number? We get n minus 10. From 19, subtract twice the number. 19 minus 2n. Notice, here from a number goes first. Here from 19 goes first. 5 is subtracted from twice the square of a number. So twice the square of a number had better go first. And then there is your minus 5 all the way through. Okay. The placement of the word sum is critical. Compare the examples below. What is the same? What is different? So now we're going to emphasize how they can try to trip you up with the word sum in a question. Twice the sum of 7 and a number. The sum of 7 and twice the number. Try both of those. Okay. And of course, always remember to stop and start anytime you're worried about how long it takes you to do a question. So the first one is twice the sum. So you have to get the sum of 7 and a number, which is n plus 7. You might have written 7 plus n. Since everything's positive, we do tend to like to put the variable first. But you must group it inside of symbols. So use the grouping symbols of the parentheses and then twice that sum. On the other one, though, it says the sum of 7 and twice the number. So first you do twice the number and 7. Get that sum. Twice the number and 7. Okay? Last, 5 times the sum of 3 times the number and 10. So it's 5 times the sum. Sum of what? The sum of 3 times the number and 10. Go ahead. Okay. So it's 5 parentheses because it's 5 times the sum. And then parentheses 3n plus 12. Okay, solve for the variable. Go ahead with the stop and start. Okay, so for the first one, on the same side, it's 7h minus 18 is 23 minus 6 is 17. Adding 18 to both sides. 7h is 35. Dividing, and I get h is 5. To me, that should be a question with which you are extremely comfortable by this point in time. Might have been a while since we started them a couple of lessons ago, but by now you should look at that and say, please give me your final exam, all questions like that. I got this. I'll do really well. Similar with the next one, distributing the 3, 9k minus 15 equals 4k plus 10. This is an opposite side, opposite operation situation. Always start with the smallest number of k's. Subtracting the 4k, that gives me 5k minus 15 is 10. Adding the 15, 5k is 25, and dividing k is 5. If you were to substitute them, you would see that it does check. Okay, solving linear equations. Here's a big long one, but again, you should be pretty comfortable with it. Go ahead. Remember, do stop and start just like at all the other times. Okay, so on the left-hand side, I see a same side, same operation situation, so I get 8x. So the whole left side simplifies to negative 9 plus 8x. The right side, the 1 and the 16 can be combined, same side. That's 17 minus 5x. Always, always, always start with the smallest number of x's. Add 5x to both sides. Negative 9 plus 13x is 17. Add the 9 to both sides. 13x is 26. Dividing by 13, x is 2. All right. So everything up until now, you should be very comfortable with any equation like that. There's the check to show that it actually works. Both sides work out to be 7. One thing to keep in mind about checks, you must always start with the original equation. Do not start with the derived equation. We said that was after you take a step. The reason is because if you made a step between the original and the derived, it would not show up in the check. Okay, the procedure for solving linear equations. First thing you do is look at it and say, hey, wait a minute, is this same side or opposite side? Once you do same side, same operation, opposite side, opposite operation. Then you want to work toward a standard two-stepper. Okay, doing inverse and opposites. Then you want to isolate the variable and solve. That's how you solve a standard two-stepper, like 2x plus 1 equals 7. Subtract 1 from both sides, then divide by 2. And then, if asked, you can check the proposed solution. Okay, here are 5 questions for you to do. And Lord, oh Lord, I did not do these. So I'm going to have to do them really, really quick off the top of my head and just tell you what the answers to these guys are. So you work on them as I work on them. And don't pause the video until I give you fair warning to pause the video when I tell you the answers are upcoming. Okay? So do not pause. And I will tell you when I'm about to give you the answer. And if you're not done yet, then pause. Okay, so I'm now about to give you the answers. If you're not completely done yet, pause the video and then start it again when you're all said and done. For the first one, the correct answer is 0. For the second one, it's -2. For the third one, it's 0. For the fourth one, it's 15/8. And for the fifth one, which is number 9, it is 1/2. Okay? If you have any questions about how to do that, then I would email me and go, well, I can give you more specifics on what to do with those. There were 2 slides I forgot to give the answers to. This was one of them. This is a second one. So now try these 3. Go ahead. Remember, you just keep working on them, and I'll tell you when I have my final answers. That's my dog snoring for the record. Okay, so in this one, the first one is 5, letter A. Letter B, oh, I should pause if you didn't get a chance and you're not done yet. Stop and start. First one is 5, letter A. Letter B is 2, and letter C is 1. Again, I do apologize that I can't show you the work for that right now, but it's 5, 2, 1. Any lingering questions that you can't get answered by a classmate, please reach out to me via email. First, try to figure it out on your own. Okay. So this time I did all the answers for you. Let's see you try letters A, B, and C. Okay. And then we'll do 1, 2, 3 after that. So let's see you try A, B, and C. Go ahead. Remember, stop and start, right? Okay, so for letter A, we're going to do 3x minus 4 is less than 11, adding 4, 3x is less than 15, dividing by 3, x is less than 5. Is 5 a solution to this particular problem? No, it is not. The number has to be strictly less than 5. 5 is not less than 5. So 4 works, 4.5, 4.999, negative 30, negative a billion, but not 5. Neither does 6 or 7 or any number above 5. Letter B, subtracting 2. Oh, here's my dumb mistake of the day. That should say 7n. I have 2n. Minus 2 from both sides. Oh, look, I get back to 7n. Okay, I didn't lose it. Dividing by 7. N is greater than or equal to 2. Is 2 a solution to this one, this inequality? The answer is yes, because this can be n is greater than or equal to 2. Does 3 work? Yes. Does 1.999 work? No. Letter C, subtracting 3 from both sides. X over negative 4 is less than 4. Multiplying both sides by negative 4, and I get x is greater than negative 16. Remember, if we multiply or divide by a negative, everything gets negated. The negative on the left becomes a positive. The sign gets negated. Less than negated is more than. And 4 multiplied by 4, of course, and negated makes negative 16. Okay. We're going to come back to this slide a little bit later on, but let's see you do the answers to numbers 1, 2, and 3. Go ahead. Okay, so I'm of course assuming stop and start here. Minus the 5 from both sides, doing inverse operations. -3n is less than 6, dividing by -3